All right, everyone seems to want to hear my opinion about KONY 2012. Now, if you don't know what KONY 2012 is, watch that little half-hour video that was made the other day. In the past 48 hours alone, I've been getting inundated with people leaving comments, sending me messages on Twitter, leaving comments on my YouTube channel, all that other good shit. Now, I've seen it. I think it's a good movement, and if they find Joseph Koney and this somehow in any way leads to his arrest, it will be a great thing. The world will be a better place because of this, and all that good shit. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the whole story of Joseph Koney or anything like that, because that half-hour video that was made earlier this week explains the whole situation 1,000 times better than I ever could to you. So I'll leave it linked in the video description. Watch it, check it out. It's really nothing that I'm here to make a joke about or anything like that. It is very serious. Now, however, I do want to bring up one other thing, and this is something that is getting greatly overlooked because there are more problems in the continent of Africa than Joseph Koney. Yes, I agree. What Joseph Koney does is despicable. He's a horrible human being, and the world will be a better place without him. I mean, the guy takes advantage of innocent children and raises them to be soldiers against their own family and friends and all that other good shit. We get all that. But there are other things that are wrong in Africa, and I want to share something here with you guys today. What you're looking at in front of you is a message that was forwarded to me by a YouTube user by the name of Frederick Peterson. Now, I had posted this message on my personal website, theawesomearchfiend.com, on October 27th, 2010, and I just wanted to raise awareness of this issue because I feel this is something that more people need to know about because this is just a plight, a suffering, and if this doesn't pull at your heartstrings, nothing will, people. Now, I must admit that I cried several times when I first read this message. And if you're a human being, you will cry too. So, now again, KONY 2012, I'm all for it. But ladies and gentlemen, this issue in Nigeria deserves some attention as well. So, rather than, just stack on everyone else's opinion of KONY 2012, I want to give you guys something a little bit different here. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the plight of the Nigerian astronaut. Subject of the letter reads, Nigerian astronaut wants to come home. I'm going to try and keep myself composed while I read the letter to you. Let's begin. Dear Mr. Sir, Dear Mr. Sir. Okay. Well, it's not addressed to Mrs. Madam, so it's got to be Dear Mr. Sir. All right, they might not know English as good as we do. All right, let's just look past that part. Let's get on to the letter here. Request for assistance, strictly confidential. Shit, I shouldn't be sharing this with you guys. Damn it. All right, just if anyone questions you about this, I didn't tell you about it and you didn't see it from here or anything. Yeah, anyway. I am Dr. Bakare Tunde. I'm sorry if I'm brutalizing your name, Doc, but all right. I'm Dr. Bakare Tunde, the cousin of Nigerian astronaut and Air Force Major Abacha Tunde. All right. He was the first African in space. Oh, way to go, Abacha. He was the first African in space when he made the secret flight to the Salyut 6 space station in 1979. He was on a later Soviet space flight, the Soyuz T-16Z, to the secret Soviet military space station Salyut 8T in 1989. He was stranded there in 1990 when the Soviet Union was dissolved. That sucks. How the hell is he going to get home, people? Let's find out. His other Soviet crew members returned to Earth on the Soyuz T-16Z, but his place was taken up by return cargo. What? Leave it to this. I mean, this is like a Hollywood movie. It's like there's no room for the black guy. We got too much cargo here to take back. The nerve of these Russians. What is their problem? All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rant about the Russians there. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Let's go on with the message here. There have been occasional progress There have been occasional progress supply flights to keep him going since that time. All right, so I'm assuming there's like some sort of like rocket that flies up to him and takes him like, food and stuff to live with. All right, let's not get into the semantics here. All right. He is in good humor, but wants to come home. In the 14 years since he has been on the space station, 14 years, he stranded there in 1990. That's a bit more than 14 years. All right, anyways, in the 14 years since he has been on the station, he has accumulated flight pay and interest amounting to almost 15 million American dollars. Holy shit! Those Nigerians pay their astronauts pretty damn well. Moving along here. This is held in a trust at the Lagos National Savings and Trust Association. If we can obtain access to this money, we can place a down payment with the Russian space authorities for a Soyuz return flight to bring him back to Earth. I am told this will cost 3 million American dollars. In order to access his Oh boy. In order to access his trust fund, we need your assistance. Well, what can I do to help? I'm just more than willing to help out here. Let's see what I can do. Consequently, my colleagues and I are willing to transfer the total amount to your account or subsequent disbursement. What? Or subsequent disbursement, since we as civil servants are prohibited by the Code of Conduct Bureau, aka civil service laws, from opening and or operating foreign accounts in our names. Damn the man for holding them down. Needless to say, the trust reposed on you at this juncture is enormous. In return, we have agreed to offer you 20% of the transferred sum, while 10% shall be set aside for incidental expenses, aka internal and external something or other, between the parties in the course of the transaction. You will be mandated to remit the balance 70% to our accounts in due course. Kindly expedite action as we are behind schedule to enable us to include down payment in this financial quarter. Please acknowledge the receipt of this message via my direct number at 23 blah 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 blah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of that? Now, I'm a little mixed up with that last paragraph where it's like, I agree to be offered 20%, while 10% shall remain set aside for incidental expenses between the parties, and then you'll be mandated to remit the balance of 70%. And I have no idea what percent I'm giving back or what I'm doing. Now, until I can get that clarified, I'm only willing to donate at least $2 million to this because, I'm kind of unsure as to, which percentage of what is going to where. But I do want Air Force Major Abacha Tunde to come back home. I mean, he's been stranded up there for 14 years. 14 years since 1990. So, it would be great to see him come home because, I mean, it would be just such a great uplifting story for Nigeria. And I really hope that many of you out there can help get this Nigerian astronaut home. I mean, just think about it. I mean, like, he's probably the most famous Nigerian that I can think of. I mean, I'm sure there's a famous Nigerian soccer player that someone's going, oh, but what about this guy? And I don't follow soccer and just insulting people by not knowing him. But I want to see this Nigerian astronaut come home. Now, I do want to see people like Joseph Koney rested, okay? But I want to see Nigerian astronauts also come home. This is one of the most forgotten things that I've ever seen in the continent of Africa. This poor guy has been stuck in outer space for all this time by himself. He got passed up for cargo. He had a chance to come home. He was like, comrades, I'm ready to come home. They go, oh, sorry. We got a few boxes over here. We can't fit you on the probe to get back to Earth. So can you just like hang out up here? You imagine how sad you would be to be passed up for cargo? Oh my goodness. I got to see this guy returned home. And you know what? I'm going to donate every penny I have until Air Force Major Abacha Tunde comes home. You know what? I'm even surprised that Nigeria has an Air Force. I mean, you learn something new every day. So, um, again, I hope you guys check out the KONY 2012 videos. But on top of that, just remember there are much more problems in the continent of Africa besides Joseph Koney. So, here's hoping that Joseph Koney gets caught and a bunch of children grab rocks and just stone him to death. I'm against the death penalty, but I'll make an exception in Joseph Koney's case here. So, anyways, everyone, I hope you learned a little bit more about the continent of Africa today, because I sure did. So, I guess that's pretty much everything I have to say about this. Again, whatever you guys can give and help out with the KONY 2012 effort is greatly appreciated. I myself, I'm gonna donate to both. I'm gonna donate to help get Joseph Koney arrested, and I'm also gonna help to get the country of Nigeria to get back one of their long lost citizens that has been floating in some Soyuz probe in outer space for 14 years since, what was it, 1990? Yes. So here's hoping that Joseph Koney gets arrested, and here's hoping that Air Force Major Abacha Tunde has a safe return home. Have a great day, everyone.